Hi, this is Russell Stannard from teachertrainingvideos.com. I'm not in my little studio in London today. Unfortunately, I'm in a hotel room, but I'm going to make a video about using Kahoot if you're teaching online. So if you're working with Zoom or Microsoft Teams or even Google Meet, any of those tools, and you want to use a Kahoot with your students fully online, how can you do it? I'll take you right through the whole process from the student view and from the teacher view. Really hope you like the video, and as if you do, please like it, please share it with other teachers if you can, please leave any comments below, and if you want to follow my work, come over to teachertrainingvideos.com, loads of free videos, and you can also sign up to the newsletter. Let's get started. Now, the best way to do a Kahoot if you're doing it online is to get the students to answer the questions using a telephone, so get them to connect to kahoot.it from their telephones, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But actually you place the questions on your screen and then share screen the questions so that the students can see the questions on the screen. So you've got to divide it up into two parts. The students answer the questions using their telephones, but they actually see the questions on the screen because you screen share the questions. So it's almost like when you project the questions when you're doing a lesson in the class, but this time you're screen sharing them so everyone can see your questions and then answer the questions using their telephones. That's the most effective way to do a Kahoot when the students are working at home. And I'm going to take you through that process now. Now, I'm not going to kind of show you all the details of Kahoot. I'm presuming you've got an account, and what we're going to do is focus on the kind of dynamics of how we set up and run an online Kahoot session. So I'm logged on and I'm going to create a Kahoot. Just to quickly remind you how to create one. So click on the create button, and the first thing you're going to be asked is the type of Kahoot that you're going to do, and I'm simply going to click on create this standard new Kahoot. Okay, so I'm just using this one here, and all I need to do now is to add in the questions. There are a few interesting things that you can set, and at the beginning I'm not really going to change any of these. That is, each question will give you 1,000 points, and for the first question you've got 20 seconds to answer. So all I need to do now is to type in my question here at the top and then put in my 4 possible answers here on the screen. So I've chosen my 4 options. I've got to tell it which is the correct answer. Click here. Notice I could add a picture if I wanted. I can also add a picture into the question. We'll have a look at some of these settings in a minute. Good idea to make sure I put a question mark on there. I'm happy with that as my first question. Okay, now I'm going to add a second question, so I click here. So I'm going to carry on with the format of using a quiz. So my second question now, first question's done. And what I'm going to do for this second question is I'm going to make it a little bit faster. So I'm not going to give students 30 seconds. I'm only going to give them 10 seconds to answer the question. And this is something I actually do, normally not so quickly, but after say 3 or 4 questions, I start to make the activities slightly quicker. So I've now written a second question. What is the biggest city in France? Lyon, Marseille, Strasbourg, or Paris? Again, I have to tell the system what the correct answer is. I could use images along with the answers if I wanted to. That would be quite time consuming. I could also use an image in the question itself or even a video. I really don't like to do that myself. I like to keep it very simple. I know we have these options. Sometimes an image library can be or an image can be really good because you can relate it to the question that you want the students to answer. So YouTube videos obviously take time. They make the actual doing the quiz slightly more complicated, so I generally avoid doing those. We've now added 2 questions. We're going to add 1 more. So we're going to add 1 more question. So we click on add question. Again, we're going to choose a quiz question. And again, I'm going to reduce this one down to 10 seconds. I'm not going to change the number of points you get. I'm now going to type in the 3rd question. Okay, so we've added a 3rd question. Really simple questions. I'm just trying to keep this really simple. I'm going to point out here how you could upload an image. Okay, you've got these three options, but to upload an image, you simply click here and then you can connect to an image that is on your computer that could be associated with the question. Now, if I put a picture of Washington in, I guess it's going to give it away. So it really does kind of depend really on the question you're asking whether an image is appropriate. But just to highlight how it would work, what I'm going to do is just come over to my pictures, come over to my save pictures, and I do believe I've got an American flag, so that seems appropriate. So I'm going to put that in. So that question has got a flag included simply because it connects to the question, and that is one of the ways you could work. But of course you could ask the question actually about the image. Now that image will appear along with the question when we play the game, and the same would be the case if we decided to use video. Now there are a couple of things to think about here. If you click on settings, okay, good idea to give it a title. So I'm going to call this quiz about cities. Okay, not a particularly interesting quiz. I'm just going to put a quick description in here. I'm going to save it to my Kahoots. There's no video or anything like that, and I'm going to allow everyone to make use of this Kahoot. In other words, if another teacher wants to make a copy of it and use it for themselves, I'm going to say that that's fine, because I've often used Kahoots that other people have made. I'm going to click on done. That's all finished, and now I'd simply need to click on the done button here and we're ready to go. Now it's very interesting because we can actually test our Kahoot, and I'm going to do that now. Now you've got three options there, but let's actually look. Instead of playing it now, we'll play it in a minute, but to actually test it, if we click here, the reason this is really good is that what Kahoot does is it actually divides the screen up into two parts. This here is what the teacher should be screen sharing, and this here is the students accessing the game on their computer. Now I've turned off the audio, otherwise that music can get a little bit annoying. If the students log in with their telephones and they need to go to kahoot.it, kahoot.it, okay, they simply write in the number, so it's going to be 5423539, okay. They put in that number, so all the students will do that. We'll click on enter. Then they need to add a name. So I'm going to imagine here, I'm just going to write Tom. Okay, so I'm just going to put Tom in and click OK, go. And you'll see that Tom appears on the screen. So remember, this is the part that you are going to be screen sharing. This is what your screen share, and this is what the students will do. They will simply log in using their phones. Now slowly all the students will log in, and you will see the number of students because it will tell you here. When you're ready to start, you click on the start button. The first question will appear on the screen, which you will be screen sharing, so the students will be able to see the question. Okay, so they can clearly see the question. What is the capital of Spain? And then they have to choose the correct answer. They got 13 seconds. The time's passing. I'm going to click on there. Now, when all the students have answered, the game or that question will immediately stop. Otherwise, it will only stop once the time is finished. Now, the teacher then will click on the next button. Remember, this is what the students see. It shows all the top scores. So imagine you've got 20 students in the room. It will show you all the top scores. I think it shows you about the first 5. And then the teacher will click on the next button. So the teacher's controlling the pace of the quiz, clicks on the next button. The second question now appears on the screen, which the teacher is screen sharing. And the students look here and they have to put the answer. Now I'm going to put the wrong answer, so I'm going to click on that one there. Okay, and actually we get feedback that the answer is correct. Again, because everyone in the quiz is now finished, it moves straight on to show the results. Otherwise, it would wait 10 seconds. Remember, the second and third question, we only gave the students 10 seconds. 10 seconds actually is not a lot of time, because sometimes the telephones are a little bit slow to pick up the questions. So it's probably a good idea to have about 20 seconds. Then you click on next, and we get a quick summary of how the students are coming on. Next again, to come to the third question, immediately we screen share the question so the students can see on their computer what the question is. Notice this time suddenly there is a picture at the top, and the student clicks on the correct answer. They just about had time there, they nearly finished the time. It gives them immediate feedback. The game is over. Remember, the game will end, or each question will end only when the time has run out or when everybody in the game has answered the question. We click on next and we actually get a summary of the winners, the second place and the third place. And in this particular case, obviously there's only one winner because there was only one person. So that is exactly how Kahoot works when we work online. But I'm going to show you now exactly what to do with your students. Now, let's go back to Kahoot. So we're going to stop playing the game and come back to the actual original Kahoot. So if I just click here to close that down, I'm going to leave that page for now. Come back to Kahoot. And if we come back to our Kahoots by just clicking here on the right hand side, we should see now that we've got all our Kahoots. We just click here to see a list of all our Kahoots, and we can actually play that game in Sirius now. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on play, and we're going to we've got two possibilities here for self-paced learning or for virtual classroom. So I'm going to do this one here. Okay, so we're kind of using it for assessment. This could be set up easy for the students to do at home for homework, for example, but we're concentrating on if you're doing a live session. So I'm going to click on teach. Okay, now when it comes to the mode, I always choose classic, and the reason I do that is because when students are doing this court game online, you're probably going to get them to do it individually, obviously from their homes. So you don't want them working in teams. You're going to want them working in classic mode. So my general advice is to choose classic. You don't need to change any of these. Actually, if you want to, you can. But I'm going to simply click on classic. And now the game is going to start. Now, of course, the students then will now need to go to kahoot.it. So the students need to go to kahoot.it and they will put that code in 2424929. So the students go to kahoot.it on their telephones. So you need to be screen sharing this window. Okay, this is the window that you need to be screen sharing. So the students go to their telephones and they go to kahoot.it. The easiest thing for them to do is just to go straight to Google and write kahoot.it. It will come up. And then they are going to add here the code. Now let's just quickly remember what the code was. So the code that the students have to put in is, in this case, 2424929. So remember, this is the student's view. This isn't, the teacher doesn't need to worry about this. This is what the student's doing on their telephones. And then they're going to put in their name, and then they'll be waiting for the first question to appear on the screen. Now, if we jump back to the teacher's view, so remember the teacher will be screen sharing this, so the students will be able to look on their computers and see this screen. Once everyone's logged in and they'll be able to see their names on the screen so they know they're logged in, the teacher will start the game and the first question will appear on the screen just like before. Okay, so the first question comes up onto the screen. The students can see the question on the screen, and what they will see on their telephones is this, and they will choose the answer. And that is exactly how you can use Kahoot in a live session. In other words, the students are answering the questions on their telephone, but you are screen sharing the questions so that they can clearly see what the questions are. And a lot of teachers have contacted me saying, Russell, I didn't understand how I could do the Kahoot online. So hopefully now I've made that clear. Okay, really hope you liked that video. Loads more free videos here on teachertrainingvideos.com. There's a special section on mobiles and including a video about how to use Socrative in an online context if you want to do that. If you want to keep up with my work, please sign up to the newsletter. That way you get updated with all the latest videos, the latest blogs, the latest webinars. Sometimes I do online courses. And also you can follow me on my YouTube channel, and that way you get updated with all the latest YouTube videos. Don't forget to click on the bell to get the updates. If you're interested in knowing about how I make all my videos, then there's information here about all the products I use, including Camtasia, the microphone I use, which is the Blue Yeti, and just to mention that I do get a small percentage of the sale price if you decide to buy any of those products. Finally, if you do want me to do some training with you, doing lots of online training these days with lots of different organizations, particularly around Zoom and using Camtasia, then please contact me on my website, and thank you very much.